Hello, everyone. This is Allison Carter, occupational therapist with the Milestones podcast. And I just wanted to thank you for joining me here on YouTube today. If you could, please subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get notifications when I put on new videos. Today, I wanted to talk about a specific skill that we look for as part of infant and toddler development, and that is container play. More specifically, it's putting toys in or putting objects in containers. So what I want to do for this video is I have just some examples of the different size containers, and a lot of them are things that people would just already have in their own homes. They don't necessarily have to go out and buy specific toys. Some of them are specific toys that I also sometimes use with this skill. So obviously, to start off, we're going to use a larger object, and this is just an example of a Tupperware that somebody might have in their home. Any large bowl would be great, or a mixing bowl or something like that that's not breakable. I usually like to use in this stage with the larger objects something that's clear if possible, especially if it's a deeper bowl, because that way the kids can still see the object that's in the bowl, and they know that it's there, because that's also part of the skill. So a lot of times I'll just use whatever objects they like to play with, like puzzle pieces or pegs or cars, whatever toys they have around the house pretty much will probably fit in this. So this is the kind of the bigger size. From there, I would also consider this kind of large. It's a little bit more medium sized to me now, but this is just a Folgers coffee can that's empty. And with this stage still, the large and the medium, I would use the object or the containers without lids, because I wouldn't expect a child that's still learning to put things in to be able to do the shapes or anything like that with a specific space. So we just have open containers that they can put things in. A lot of times things that are harder objects with these containers are nice, because it makes a sound when it goes in, and that's a lot of times rewarding for a lot of kids. And this is just another Tupperware. It's smaller than the other one, but still pretty big. So I consider this kind of a medium to large in the process. From that size, I would move down to this kind of still a medium large. These are some actual toys that work pretty good for it. This is obviously a shape sorter, and it's an old one, so I don't know if you can even still find this specific one, which you don't have to. But the shapes make it, again, a nice sound when they go in. A lot of people have shape sorters. Most of the time now I see like the red ones with the more rectangle shaped bucket with the yellow lid, and those are great. Just take the lid off and have the kids put the toys in without the lid. I also have these. This is just a bucket that the alligators came with that I have, and so a lot of times I'll just use that for just a putting in activity, not necessarily playing with the alligators, taking them apart or anything, although you could, but I just really use it for putting in a lot of times. So from there, I go on to a little bit smaller, which would be, this is something that I recommend a lot of times for people to hang on to your Parmesan cheese container when you're done with it. Wash it out and then use it. You can take the lid off again and just have the open hole, and they can still put in pretty decent sized pegs or blocks or cars again, or whatever, little people. Also, a toy that might be purchased would be these cups. They go along with the counting bears that are the same colors that match. A lot of times with this age that's working on putting in still, I wouldn't use the bears because they're pretty small, and I wouldn't want them to put them in their mouth and choke. But a lot of times I'll use blocks, or again the pegs, and they don't have to match, but they can. Even still, my puzzle pieces will go in here. So that's a decent medium to smaller size that goes along with that. Something that they might have at home or be able to get is just a juice container. some other food container from the refrigerator when it's empty and clean. Then the next size down would be pretty small. So this water bottle has a small opening. And a lot of times I'll also recommend that people just hang on to their old vitamin bottles, that they clean them out really well. And usually it's like a Flintstone vitamin or something. So there's not going to be anything harmful in something like that, especially when it's cleaned out. But these are nice because a lot of the kids can actually hold these bottles with one hand, or a water bottle maybe. And they can practice putting things in while they hold on to it at the same time. So really good bilateral coordination activity as well. I might also still use my Parmesan cheese container, but at this time I'm just going to open up the side with the half opening. So it's a little smaller than the full opening, but it's not too difficult. It's pretty comparable to the size of one of these bottles. From there, kind of the next level that you can do with this Parmesan cheese is the other side. When you open it up, it has the little holes, and this is a pretty hard skill. So putting in the specific holes, something that's the same shape, like Q-tips or straws. So again, as long as it's appropriate for the child's age, that's something you have to make sure you check. So those are my examples, the things that I talk about a lot. I talk about it on my podcast quite a bit. And I recommend these things to parents all the time. So I just wanted to show people exactly what I was talking about. And if you check the link in the YouTube right underneath my video, and I'll have a link for Patreon. If you join me on Patreon, I have a more specific sheet for you to look at, and it goes through each step of the putting in progression as I see it. So it's pretty interesting, and I don't think you'll find anything quite like it on the internet. I kind of Googled it to see if there was anything out there. And there isn't really anything in a concise list. Now, the list is my experience and how I've seen it over the years. So don't hold me to an exact developmental milestone checklist. But it's a pretty good guideline for usually what I see come next in the progression of this skill putting in. So thank you for joining me here today, and I'll see you real soon.